The airwaves. It's time for the Martin Houston Show with Martin, Xavier, and Simeon. Martin is a national championship fullback from the 1992 Alabama Crimson Tide, known for his bruising runs and devastating blocks. Now he's bulldozing through sports talk with that same championship intensity. Joining him is his son, Xavier, a savant of football knowledge and statistical insight. He's your go-to source for the latest recruiting news and insider updates from across the Bama Nation. And Simeon, the thinker and contemplator, bringing you insight and knowledge that is logical, thoughtful, and on point. Together, they deliver fair and balanced analysis from an insider's perspective with real conversations where the callers, the listeners, and the online maniacs get in on the action by sharing their thoughts, their comment, and their reaction. Join our online maniacs at facebook.com/The Martin Houston Show. You're listening to Tide 100.9 and 1230 WTBC. It's time for kickoff. So buckle up and get ready, because this is the sound of Bama sports. The Martin Houston Show with Martin, Xavier, and Simeon is live. Roll, Tide, roll!
Buckle up and get ready, baby. We are fast approaching game week. So as we count down to the Alabama Crimson Tide kickoff, it's been fun. It's been a fun offseason. It's been an interesting offseason. But we do have a quarterback. No one's shocked by the quarterback. But are we shocked by how it's being handled? Has the young man once again proven, or these young men for the Crimson Tide, proven that the character in which you recruit shows up, not when everything is good, but shows up when everything doesn't go your way. We talked about Austin Mack yesterday. We're going to bring DC Capstone report in on the conversation. The most important player on this team might be Keelan Russell. The second most important player on this team might be Austin Mack and how he handles it. We're going to hear what Coach had to say about that. We're going to talk about Keelan. We're going to listen to I thought the reporters did a good job of asking questions yesterday, so we'll kind of walk through that with Coach today and give our analysis of what Coach had to say. So we invite you, maniacs, to get in on the conversation at 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. That's Empowerment Training and Consulting Hotline. Maniacs that listen to us on the streaming platforms, we invite you to get in on the conversation and break it down. Some of the things we talked about yesterday, Coach dug a little deeper on about how difficult this week is. We had talked about that a little bit. So I think without a doubt, this is the hardest week of a college player's life. We didn't dig into it, but man, it's real now. Simeon, Xavier, DC, pro players are back in college. Craziest thing in the world. So remember that this is a day that the Lord has made. So let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Good morning, X. How you doing, man?
Good morning. Good morning. Doing well.
Good morning, Sim.
Good morning.
All right, DC, welcome in.
Oh, glad to be here, guys. Glad to be here. Good morning, everybody.
All right. Well, good morning, maniacs. And I mean, we got a good list of folks jumping in over on the live stream. Bam Bam, Keith, Holcomb, and always every time I say Keith Holcomb, everybody always think not the one that owns his own business, not the one that played linebacker, right? we got our week our check-in spy blind squirrel jumping in along with Pittner, Sam Pittner, Q Dixon, Jacob Powell, and Miss Pittner. Roll Tide, everybody. Welcome in, Maniacs. Let's get it going. Before let's go ahead. I just want to play Coach's comments, opening comments, get initial reactions, and then we'll jump on the phone lines and all of that. But here's Coach talking about, he knew that there was going to be some conversation, but this is him just after 2 really good days of practice, but 2 tough days.
First of all, just good morning, you guys. And we had 2 good practices again. I think we've just consistently, had this kind of trend with our team. Energy, attitude, try to find those areas that we need to improve, and the guys being very intentional in addressing it. Went in the stadium yesterday, got some good work, trying to, with so many new players, make sure that that's our home territory, that's our home base, and that they're comfortable and it's a familiar setting for them. So that was our 4th time during camp, and that'll be our last. But today, just a ton of situations, and it's really for a lot of those times are the end of the moment, end of the game types of things, and you got to have quarterback, offense on the same page, but then the defense can see what an offense would do against you. And we were great in those moments last year, and so we had a great mindset going in, a lot of learning, but it was still a physical practice because that's what we got to make sure of this week, that we don't drop off a year ago for different reasons, some injuries and just other guys getting excessive reps because of injuries. Just the speed of things tailed off about this time, and we just want to do everything we can to make sure that doesn't happen. Our guys, again, are being very intentional.
All right. So yesterday we broke it down, guys, that this was the hardest week. Coach DeBoer yesterday says last year the team tailed off this week. Y'all's response there. I think that's huge in breaking down just how difficult this week can be. Simeon, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's super crucial and important to not allow yourself to break down. But I like that the guys that are taking excess reps because of injuries are taking advantage of it from what I've heard Coach DeBoer say, and so that's always a good thing.
DC.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is a difficult week. We all know this week is always most difficult. Kid back to school, you've got more things on your mind. You got a lot of things that are happening that you're not just football, so it's distracting. It's a distraction week, and a lot of times you seem to peak. This team has seen the peak. Alabama under Coach DeBoer has seen the peak during the last scrimmage, and it's a difficult week. I'm glad to see that they've recognized that. That's an improvement for me. That's a good sign that they're looking at the self-analysis of what happened last year and said, hey, we don't want to make that same mistake. And so they're trying to build that into the season. And so hopefully they don't come out flat. That's a good thing. But it's also a hard, means they're not thudding. They're having a hard practice. They're hitting each other. They're hurting, having some injuries, different things, but it's next man up. So I think we're seeing a different culture on this team as well. The way he talks, I think it's a little different team than last year, but that's good as well.
Yeah, this week when you're getting ready, most of the starters have been locked into their spots, and you're getting comfortable with that. But you're still more than a week out away from true game preparation. They'll probably spend the first couple of days getting things settled in with the ones, and then move into game preparation later in this week, getting ready for ECU. Hard week to stay focused. You want to keep guys healthy. We see that injury bugs biting a little bit, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, unfortunately, a couple injuries, but this week they're still going hard, and I think he still wants them to be intense because last year it didn't things didn't go well this week, and then that manifested in game week. So mentally, physically, I think they're going to push him. I just think that the fact that they snuck over and did another practice in the stadium tells me that they got some young guys that they wanted to be in the big lights. That they also wanted Keelan Russell to run out of that tunnel as the man. You know what I mean? Like okay, because the first time he would do that would be next week. I mean, game week. Uh,
Yeah.
and so I think there was a lot, but I think it also says that there's some young guys because he said I want them to understand this is their home. Well, the guys who played there plenty of times kind of know that, right?
Right.
So I think you're going to have several guys starting their first game for the Crimson Tide. So I thought that was pretty good. And then, of course, like we said, this is a tough week for football, especially college football, in terms of just the physicality. Really, really hate it for Beeman. His is a pretty serious injury, which means he's probably going to miss another season. Um, from what I've heard. Heard that Jair's thing could be something that required surgery, but could be one of those
Hands.
hand type of things, but something that he could, Jeff Allen, if there's a way for them to cast it up, bandage it up, wrap it up, he might still be available. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Hey, let's get to Alan. Alan, you're in on the Empowerment Training and Consulting Hotline right here on Tide 100.9 at 12:30 a.m. WTBC, your home of Alabama sports. What's on your mind, sir?
Wow, that was a long one. Okay, this is not. I got my opinion on this. You know what, Martin? Since I'm sure you got a year eligibility left. Get your helmet. Come on back out there. Let's call Maurice Corrett up and get him to come on back out there and play. Get him off the rocks and get him on play another year in college football. Since everybody else seems to be coming back. Hey, if transgenders can go to the WNBA, why can't we let pro players come back to the college football? That is absolutely ridiculous and crazy. But hey, this is the time we live in right now, and that's the way it is.
Alan, this is the craziest thing. Here's the question I have right now: is there the possibility that some guy, because it didn't say the guys who were drafted this past year, DC. The stipulation was 2022 athletes have eligibility, correct? So
Mm-hmm.
is it possible that a guy left last year, made a team or made a practice squad, and gets cut this year that he could come back as well?
It is.
Because he's still in his 5-year window. Even though he's been gone not just this year, but a whole year. That's the craziest thing ever, right?
Absolutely crazy. And my other thing is this, Martin. You know what? We can have Superman at their quarterbacking. Until we start talking about that offensive line and get some running backs out there in the SEC, it makes a difference who's quarterbacking.
Yeah.
If our offensive line don't show up, and and you gotta run the ball at the SEC. You can't throw the ball and continue to think you're gonna win the SEC. We think you're gonna throw the ball every down and win. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Alan, we're going to address it on the other side. I don't think that's what this coaching staff wants to do, but I agree with you. But I don't think they chose Keelan just because of throwing the ball. But I think there's a couple things that he brings to the table that you're going to see help the run game as well. And I think Mac brought some of those, but not at the level he does. So, but yeah, we had planned to talk about the SEC and their weak statement on the NFL players, and we'll also talk about that O-line and the quarterbacks. Thanks, Alan. Appreciate you, man. We'll be back on the other side. We'll get some of DC's thoughts. Of course, X and Simeon bringing their content to the table. And Maniacs, you're always welcome. Jump in on it right here on the home for Alabama Sports, Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. A very good morning to you on your terrific Tuesday, and we're starting out pretty terrific. On the roadways right now, it is quiet as it typically is this time of morning in Tuscaloosa. We're looking at the intersection of Watermelon and McFarland, and that, of course, has your stoplight delays, but that's about all you have to worry about there. 15th Street moving smooth in between McFarland and Lurleen Wallace. And with your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored by Staples. All right, it's officially the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech, 20% off for teachers, and more. Check out all the deals at staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy.
When it comes to custom apparel, trust your local experts at B&B Sports and Silkscreen in Northport. We specialize in team uniforms, event apparel, company branding, and custom hat patches. We offer professional screen printing, DTF prints, and embroidery with fast turnaround times and quality you can count on. Give us a call today for a free quote at 205-339-7361. That's 205-339-7361. Locally owned, locally trusted, and ready to bring your ideas to life.
Fall is here, and it's time to hit the woods or trail in your ATV or side-by-side from Redline Power Sports on Highway 43 North at Tierce Patton Road in Northport. Stop by today, and Redline Power Sports can show you how they can save you big bucks. Redline Power Sports also sells boats and jet skis. They have a full-service repair shop for ATVs, side-by-sides, boats, and jet skis. Redline Power Sports, open Monday through Saturday on Highway 43 North at Tierce Patton Road in Northport. Call 737-7425.
Alabama football is back, and there's nothing more refreshing than an ice-cold Surfside to enjoy while you cheer on your Crimson Tide. Surfside is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles. That's right, no carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. It's not a seltzer, it's Surfside. Proud partner of the Crimson Tide. Sold in stadium and at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
Hey, I'm Martin Houston, and I want to tell you about exciting news happening at Box Eye Care. They've moved to their new location, bringing you a brand new lab, stylish new frames, and a fresh look just for you. Enjoy their expanded frame inventory, competitive prices, and faster service, all with the same great level of service you've come to know and trust. Discover this full-service eye care at Box Eye Care's new location. With their in-house lab, they offer unbeatable value and one of the largest frame collections in town. Schedule your eye exam today and walk out with new glasses in less than an hour in most cases. Visit boxeyecare.com. That's boxeyecare.com, or call 205-342-0660. That's 205-342-0660. Visit them at 5003 Oscar Baxter Drive. That's Box Eye Care. Your vision, our priority.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites, from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Here's your Tuscaloosa and West Alabama forecast. An uptick in the storm chances here as we head into the middle and latter half of the week. But today we hold on to sunshine. Hot temperatures 96. Clear and muggy tonight, low 74. Sunny conditions tomorrow with a high 95, and afternoon and evening storm chances. And more of the same as we move into Thursday, with Thursday's high 93. Scattered storms on Friday, high temperatures at 93. This is Richard DeWetting at the Weather Channel for Town Square Media Tuscaloosa.
It's 70 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Keep it locked into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and X's and O's Sports' Xavier Houston.
Welcome back into the Martin Youth Show with Martin, Xavier, and Simeon. Before we jump into the Alabama thing, because of the conversation, it's kind of a sidebar conversation. Let's go ahead and hit this players back, NFL players back in the college game. Sankey and all of these, they have no guts. They have no stamina. They're not willing to take a stand. They came out with a statement, which is hogwash. I mean, college athletes, not former professional athletes, have been at the center of the heart of this. Their position is once a player leaves college, signs a professional playing contract, and competes professionally, he should not be permitted to return to college competition. The SEC said allowing it would blur the distinction between college and professional sports, create competitive equity concerns, and take opportunities away from current. Great that they said that. Who didn't already know that? DC, what was that statement? What was the purpose of that statement? Everything they said, everyone already existed. The SEC has the ability to tell their member schools and come out on record and saying, you should not. We expect all of our member schools to operate under the following. They're scared they're going to get the other team conferences are going to get a competitive advantage. But these coaches complain about NIL, they complain about the transfer portal, and they complain about this. And they're the ones who are doing it. It's the stupidest thing. It's like me being upset with my kids who are sneaking and eating candy at night or cereal at night or whatever at night, knowing that they're doing it, and then put more of it in the cabinet and then saying, y'all know y'all not supposed to do that.
Yeah, it's really I don't know. I think they made a statement because they thought they had to make a statement, but they didn't say anything in the statement, anything that we didn't already know, and they have the ability as a SEC. We're all of us that are members of the SEC. All the schools have voluntarily joined and voluntarily live by the rules. That's something that we do. We've decided that we're going to do that. It's 16 schools. It's not across the nation, and all they had to do was say, "Hey, we will not do that in the SEC," and everyone would have to fall in line. There would be they have arbitration agreements, they have suit agreements, they have all those sort of things where they're not going to sue each other, bring each other into a public forum. They're not going to do that. But they didn't want to do it, not because they didn't think it was the right thing, because they didn't want to get the other teams to have a competitive advantage over them. That's it. That's the only reason. That is the only reason they didn't do it. And so, to me, it was just absurd to make a statement like that, saying you shouldn't do it. That was like me telling my son, "Don't do that," and then never do anything when they do it, never do anything to them. And so that's not the way you conduct business. That's not the way you do things. We're in a world now that people are afraid you're going to lose something or get behind somebody else because they're breaking the rules. So it's okay for you to go ahead and do the same thing.
Yeah, they didn't say anything about being against it. They just said this is what the rules are. Well, we already knew that. Simeon, Xavier, is this not the ultimate participation trophy? These judges, what you see now, this is the ultimate of a generation being raised because we blame the kids, okay? We blame the kids. We blame your generation, Simeon. We blame my grandkids. The grandkids aren't the ones making the rules. That's what people don't get. We dog the younger generation and say all these participation trophies. Then we complain about how they enter the workforce and how they do things. But these are judges who are not Gen Zers.
The judges are boomers and
Xers.
Gen X.
Yeah, they're making these decisions. Man, this is crazy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's an absolute joke. I mean, first of all, Sankey didn't have a single issue, as Jacob Powell brought up, opening his mouth and pretty much forcing the hand in the Charles Bediako situation. And I guess we've got the only judges that don't have the intestinal fortitude to stand up and
Or do we have the
say
only judge
forget it.
Or do we have the only judges that had the moral compass? Because the reality of it is, our judge, Simeon, are the
Did the
ones
right thing.
who made the right choice. So I'm gonna not dog our judge when I agree with what they did.
Yeah,
I mean, I agree with what they did, but
yeah, it's funny as you say. If you read the Bible, it says as we get closer and closer to the end, what is right seems wrong, and what's wrong seems right, and that's what's going on nowadays. We're upset with the judge, feeling some type of way about how he ruled in the Bediako case, when that should be the normal, and the not normal should be them getting allowed to play. But it's so messed up nowadays that we're upset with him for not cheating and not root. Why didn't you cheat for us, man? I mean, so
DC, that's a great point, Xavier.
Yeah, good point. Good point. And I think what we're seeing is a society where we have gotten to a point of everybody do what they want to do, and don't live by rules, and don't want to live by consequences of those actions and that sort of thing. And so don't want to be harsh. And SEC is saying, hey, we don't want to get behind all these other schools going to do it. We might as well do it too. And it wasn't just SEC. I saw Ryan Day make a statement. Same thing yesterday. He said the same thing. Ryan Day said the same thing. The only one that came out completely against it yesterday, the only one was Dan Lanning of Oregon. And he said what we're saying this morning.
Yeah, I don't even like the fact that Coach DeBoer said there's a possibility. No, shut it down. Shut it down.
Yeah.
These guys had their opportunities. They had their 4 years. You played. You got in games enough for 4 years to lose a red shirt.
Do you understand how elite the company is? We're talking about these guys deserve another chance, guys. I went to the NFL. I have a Pittsburgh Steelers helmet, and I never played. You know how many kids play football and they never get that? I am in the elite company, even though I never played in an official game. I was and sounds arrogant, but I'm trying to make a point. How can you feel sorry for me? How can you say, oh, Martin played college ball, he went to the NFL, it didn't work out. Oh, poor, pitiful Martin. I got hurt playing in the NFL for the Pittsburgh Steelers. There is 1% of all athletes or less who ever get to that level. The NFL is not like all the other sports. There's not a million baseball teams. There's not minor league. You go from college to pros. And if you get selected in that 80, let that sink in. They bring in 80, whatever number of guys. 80 times 30 teams?
32.
That's it, guys. In every year, there's only 100 or so that get selected. And now we're feeling sorry for them.
2%.
Huh?
1.6 to 2% of college seniors make it to the NFL. Elite of elite company.
I mean, Xavier, you're talking about of the ones who get to play college. Think about all of the dreams of the kids. Your son started playing flag football this year. My other grandson started playing a couple years ago. All of these kids have dreams of making it there. By the time you get to the 1 and 2%, DC, of college athletes, you are in the 1% of the 1% of the 1%.
No doubt about it. That's exactly correct. And we are talking about a guy. Let's just put a perspective on it here. We're talking about a guy that last Thursday was catching passes in a preseason NFL game. How many players get to do that? How many people get to get on the field and play in a game? And now he is going to be signed. A headline say, Cleveland Browns player signs with LSU. Does that sound crazy or what? That's just warped, right? It's absolutely absurd.
And no one is talking about, and then the other part is I think about, because you have to think that those two guys are going to play. Now, LSU has potentially the number one ranked tight end in Green in the country.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? You would assume that this guy will get some reps.
Oh, he'll be tight end too.
So he's going to take reps away from whoever's running number 2, and he's going to take reps from number 1. The defensive lineman is going to play. So
yeah, but think about this. Not only that, he's taking the 105th spot. So whoever had that 105th spot is not on the team anymore.
Oh, and just so you know, they signed 2 of the top 3 or 4 defensive tackles in the country, and that's where the other guy plays. So one of these stud D tackles.
Hey, let me ask you this question, guys, and we'll get the break out there. Does this eventually come back to hurt Lane Kiffin unless he keeps changing jobs? Because it was starting to catch up with him that if you play certain positions, he is going to bring in even if you sign, he's going to bring in somebody to take your spot. Will these types of
go there as a quarterback?
And he does it with wide receivers and running backs. He has several that he does it with. Will this, if he stay at LSU, come back to haunt him down the road? Will he be able to recruit high school kids? Or would you let your kid go there, I guess would be a good question. DC?
I think it makes a difference. I mean, you hear coming out of, just to use Alabama, for example, fathers and mothers and advisors still look at what you're going to do with your kids when you get there. Keelan Russell's dad was on record of saying he chose to come to Alabama because of Grubb and DeBoer's history with putting professional players in the NFL, put quarterbacks in the NFL. So I think they still look at that, and it'll definitely affect. I mean, they'll say it won't affect, but it'll definitely affect when it comes down to it. What he's doing now. What you do now always has consequences, and I believe what Kiffin's doing now will affect him down the road.
Money. If he continues to go to places and LSU has a $50 million roster, I think he'll probably be able to have his pick at LSU because just of one, where LSU is located, and 2, he can spend money with the best of them now. He couldn't do that at Ole Miss. So I think it would have caught up to him at Ole Miss because you can't spend as much. But at LSU, I think he'll be able to have his pick.
But
if you're...
Go ahead, Xavier, go ahead.
When it comes to Bray and Deuce, if they end up playing positions where I see a repetitive track record of them going in and it's a transfer guy, time and time again, I'm going to advise, I know for Deuce as my son, don't go to that school.
But remember,
you're never going to get a real opportunity.
Y'all are thinking at it from how y'all approach it. There's light at some of these. How many players are making decisions on where they're going to college based off of this and not what's best fit for them?
Right. And Simeon, I agree. I guess what I'm saying though is there's gonna be a grouping of schools like that.
Mm-hmm.
Kiffin is doing it in such a way that I think it's going to hurt the high school. I think he's going to be able to draw from college. I'm not saying he won't be good. I'm saying if it's LSU, Tennessee, Texas, Ohio State, and all these schools. And his track record is he may give you money for 1 year, but you're not going to be able to build on your NIL because next year he's going to bring in a bunch of other guys.
Miami, LSU, or Miami, or wherever.
Hold on. He's making decisions on money. I agree. But if he's competing against people who don't have that track record, right? So in other words, Simeon, you choosing between Texas and LSU and Ohio State. Where are you going with Kiffin's track record?
Not LSU.
That's the point I'm making. Yeah, guys are going to still go, but they're going to go somewhere else to get that money. They're definitely making the decisions. Unfortunately, only many of them just on money. But Kiffin has a track record where you're going to make that money 1 year, then he's going to bring somebody else in. Because the NIL, the way NIL should work is my money and my brand should grow from my freshman year. And Kiffin's process right now, I think, is hurting that with the way he's doing things. We need to get the break here. X, give your comment and then take it to break.
No, I mean, but there's going to become a group of schools that you just don't go to, especially for certain positions. If I was a quarterback, a 5-star quarterback, I'm not going to LSU. I'm not going to Miami. I'm not going to Oregon. There are just certain places I'm not going to go because they have a track record of they're going to all commit and sign. And then after redshirting my freshman year, they're going to bring in a redshirt junior and pay him $5 to $10 million. And now I'm transferring, trying to look for another home.
Yeah.
But hey, we're going to get the break when we come back on the other side. We'll continue this conversation. It's the Martin Houston Show with Martin, Xavier, and Simeon. It is Tuesday, so we do have DC Caps on report. We'll see you on the other side.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. A very good morning to you on your terrific Tuesday, and we're starting out pretty terrific. On the roadways right now, it is quiet as it typically is this time of morning in Tuscaloosa. We're looking at the intersection of Watermelon and McFarland, and that, of course, has your stoplight delays, but that's about all you have to worry about there. 15th Street moving smooth in between McFarland and Lurleen Wallace. And with your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
Hi, robot thing. Rotten, soggy egg salad sandwich in lunchbox. Clean?
Just use Clorox disinfecting wipes.
Glitter slime paper mache explosion? Clean?
Also, Clorox disinfecting wipes.
Son.
Yes.
Snot rocketed.
Yes.
All over
yes.
the kitchen counter.
Clorox disinfecting wipes. Kills 99.9% of germs without smelling like it. Clorox. Clean feels good. Used as directed.
The Tuscaloosa Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Dime Patrol.
Sir, you've been charging more than one dime down. Now, I told you fellers before, they got to pay up. Not at Tuscaloosa Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, they don't.
They know it's a crime to pay more than a dime.
One dime down.
New Ram trucks up to $22,000 off.
What about credit?
If you've got a job
and a dime,
you ride. Stick with Tuscaloosa Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. TuscaloosaCDJR.com.
After a wreck, the clock starts immediately. The insurance company is already working, protecting themselves, gathering statements, and looking for a reason to deny your claim. One wrong move, one missed deadline, one thing said too soon, and your case can be damaged or lost forever. You don't need to figure this out alone. You need protection. You need guidance, and you need it now. Call Ms. Reno, 900-9000. That's 900-9000 for a free consultation. No fees unless we win. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than that of other lawyers.
Hillcrest Huddle is moving. Join us every Tuesday night from 7 to 8 at the state's #1 voted sports restaurant, Baumhauer's Victory Grill South. Come on out and catch the broadcast live, featuring exclusive coach and player interviews with everything you need to know about Hillcrest athletics. Also, Tuesdays bring special deals for the Patriot Nation, and kids 12 and under eat free with an adult entree purchase. Plus, check out the new Big Game Headquarters menu featuring the affordable All-Stars. The Hillcrest Huddle at Baumhauer's, Tuesdays on Tide 100.9 FM.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back again to Martin Houston Show. Listen, I don't know who it is, but whoever's behind destroying college football, they have a lot of money. Or college sports. They have a lot of money. Simeon, and they're out there doing their thing. So college sports is on its way to some type of decline. I don't know what's going to be the end game, but if some people don't get a backbone, it is going. College sports will, in the next 5 to 10 years, will not be a part of the college. At least football, and possibly basketball, will be minor league based, school supported. It's just, there's no way it can't happen. Here's what Coach had to say about the biggest decision in college sports this year.
Do to win the job?
Well, I think, first of all, I'll just preface that every time you say these things about one guy, it feels like the other guy is not that. And we have two elite quarterbacks in my mind and two guys that you can go to battle with. I am extremely excited, though, with what, to answer your question, what Keelan can do, with this offense moving forward and what he brings to the table. Again, just focusing on Keelan's part, and what I think he's continued to do is he's continuing to feel comfortable with the offense, the command of the offense, the execution. He's done a better job at the more and more reps, as you'd expect, taking care of the football, balancing that with the ability to still be explosive and not be too conservative. And so, I think both guys grew in those areas, but I'm just really excited to see what Keelan can do with the offense moving forward.
DC?
Well, I think you can hear the respect that he has for both individuals, and I think that's really I love the way he brought them in together, talked to them together. Seems like Austin Mack is handling it, disappointment of well, and not being a problem with the team is actually going to enhance the team. So everything he said there, focusing on Keelan Russell and how his performance has gone and grown. I think they started out. I think it's clear Austin Mack took the first snap in fall practice. He took the first snap in lines at the spring games and spring things, but he didn't do anything to lose the job. Keelan Russell did everything to win it by maturing and getting better each time. And it was clear if you watched or had anyone that told you about anything in the scrimmages that each time he went out, the offense, advanced, did things that were good, and he had an opportunity to show himself, and he did. And so he won the job, and I think this team is going to be solid and better because the way he won this job and the way that Austin Mack has handled himself since finding out that Keelan Russell won the job.
Gotcha.
Yeah, once again, I think we've stressed it a lot that this was all Keelan winning the job more than it was, or even a consideration that Austin lost the job. These are two great quarterbacks that pushed each other from the time Ty Simpson declared for the NFL draft till now, and I don't think that stops. I think that continues throughout the course of the season. Austin is a competitor, and he's going to be ready if the opportunity ever comes for him to step in and help this Alabama team win.
Yeah, Simeon, I'm going to play something. I want you all to listen because you can listen and people can talk. Listen to what Coach says. I think I got it in about the right spot, a little extra audio here, but he tells you where they ended and what he did to win the job. Listen.
And so, I think both guys grew in those areas, but I'm just really excited to see what he's done a better job at the more and more reps, as you'd expect, taking care of the football, balancing that with the ability to still be explosive and not be too conservative. And so, reps, as you'd expect, taking care of the football, balancing that with the ability to still be explosive and not be too conservative. And so,
Simeon, there's your answer.
Yeah, I mean, he's not turning.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying he's not turning the ball over, but he's still keeping that dynamite in a bottle play style. And if you can have both of those at the same time, you have to go with that. I mean, as much as we know we love Mac and stuff, dynamite in a bottle that doesn't turn the ball over seems to be a lot of explosive plays and a lot of success for your offense. And so no wonder that since he was able to, not turn over the ball, maintain all of everything that made him Keelan, no wonder he got the start nod.
DC.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think just to comment on that, I think sometimes we forget. We always talk about the experience that Austin Mack had because he came in early and got in the system early, but we forget that Keelan Russell was an early enrollee. He practiced with the team at the Rose Bowl, I believe, and he's been turning heads since that time with his upside. There were flashes of brilliance. There were things that everybody saw, man, he could do that. Much like Jalen Hurts, when Jalen Hurts enrolled early and started turning heads at a bowl practice, and no one thinks he's going to get to play, but even Coach Saban couldn't keep him off the field that year. His upside was so good. So Russell has had a couple of years to get under his belt to the idea of a couple of things that hey, these coaches saw the brilliance early on, and he's grown, he's matured, even into the spring, even into the fall. He's getting better, even into the fall practices, even to the first scrimmage, the second scrimmage. And so his ability to have that athletic, I can only do it type mentality with this in certain flashes became not just a flash, but he got to learn how to be mature enough to protect the ball, but not so conservative that he loses his ability to be that quote unquote, like Simeon said, not lightning in a bottle in certain times.
Yeah,
and that's a sign of maturity.
Yeah, as we get the break here, we're going to come back on the other side. We do want to come in on the O-line. But, guys, he said he grew in his command and control of the offense. He got better at not making mistakes while maintaining. In other words, he didn't start controlling the ball and cutting down his turnovers because he became less aggressive. He remained Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, while maintaining that lack of turnover. I mean, the mistakes and minimizing. So, lightning, dynamite in the bottle, etc. We'll be back on the other side. Get DC's thoughts on the O-line. We're going to break down this quarterback because he made several other comments. And Grubb talks today. So, it's going to get even better. We'll break it down right here on the Mark the Houston Show on the other side.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We are starting to thicken up just a skosh, not too much here, but the usual happenings on Skyland Boulevard between Greensboro and 69. Also moving about Lurleen Wallace. Now that is not bad at all. We travel nice and smooth from 15th to McFarland, and McFarland also moving at posted speed from 15th Street to 2059. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Still sleeping on that old bed? Mattress Firm's sleep experts can help you choose the perfect upgrade. They'll guide you every step, answering your questions. Shop today and save big during the best sale of the year. They make sleep easy.
When it comes to custom apparel, trust your local experts at B&B Sports and Silkscreen in Northport. We specialize in team uniforms, event apparel, company branding, and custom hat patches. We offer professional screen printing, DTF prints, and embroidery with fast turnaround times and quality you can count on. Give us a call today for a free quote at 205-339-7361. That's 205-339-7361. Locally owned, locally trusted, and ready to bring your ideas to life.
Too many families face a widening gap between what they can afford and what they need to thrive. More than half of families in the U.S. today are one paycheck away from financial crisis. At Good 360, we deliver hope when families need it most, providing essentials like clothing, hygiene items, and household goods. Put help within reach. Learn more at good360.org.
Taco Casa, quality, taste, and value under the biggest cactus in town. They've been doing it the right way each and every day for 50 years and counting. If you're looking for a great option for lunch and or dinner, then you need to check out Taco Casa. Taco Casa, and while you're there, don't forget to get a big glass of that sweet tea. Visit them online at tacocasa.com. That's tacocasa.com. Quality, taste, and value on the biggest cactus in town. That's Taco Casa, tacocasa.com.
Fall is here, and it's time to hit the woods or trail in your ATV or side-by-side from Redline Power Sports on Highway 43 North at Tierce Patton Road in Northport. Stop by today, and Redline Power Sports can show you how they can save you big bucks. Redline Power Sports also sells boats and jet skis. They have a full service repair shop for ATVs, side-by-sides, boats, and jet skis. Redline Power Sports, open Monday through Saturday on Highway 43 North at Tierce Patton Road in Northport. Call 737-7425. What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites, from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Left guard and right tackle. Javen has taken most of the reps at right tackle, but Nick Brooks continues to do a really good job of pushing hard, and he's a really good football player too. And so that competition will still always be there, but Javen has taken most of the reps there. And at left guard, Mal would have, especially the first part of camp, because Will had to work into things with his just modifications. Mal took most of the reps, if not all, with the ones, and Will's been able to work in there more. So, there is competition, and Will can play guard and guard, and so he takes some reps at both spots during the course of a practice.
All right, we've been talking about the quarterback position, DC, but it's going to come down to this O-line. Without a doubt, Alabama, I think, is much improved in the O-line when you have a Will Sanders who may be your role play guy.
Yeah, most definitely. I went in depth on that in the podcast. My podcast went up yesterday, so you can check that out on our website. But went in depth on the offensive line, saying that, hey, we're going to be much improved on the offensive line this year. Number one, because of the coaching. Coach Clem, to every person I've talked to, has said what a great job he's done coming in, translating the basics to the players, and the players learn. When the players start talking about how they learned hand placement and foot placement, things they should have learned already, it tells you something about how the upgrading coaching we have. And then secondly, the ideas of the players that are competing for positions, the transfers, and the others we had already on the team. So, I look for this team to be much improved. I called it a work in progress, but not as a criticism, but as a truth be told. They're having to gel, they're having to get together to play together, and so I think we'll see the difference when we see them play against East Carolina, just from this line as opposed to last year's line.
Yeah, I mean, when you're hearing them talk
for me,
about, when you're hearing them talk about the offensive line and what Coach DeBoer just said, still competition, but it looks like we know who game one the starters are going to be. It's going to be Javen James and Mal Waldrop. But it sounds more like Will Sanders is going to be the Tyler Booker, the same type of role he had last year, probably a little bit more because of the inexperience at those positions. You know, Carroll played a lot last year at right tackle. Waldrop's a redshirt freshman. So there's still more competition and opportunities to get on the field for Sanders, but Brooks is still doing a great job. And it sounds like if push comes to shove, if this line struggles at right tackle, we could see Carroll kick back out and Sanders in there at right guard. That's what I think.
My take on it is Mal Waldrop is not letting go of that left guard spot, but they think that Will Sanders is borderline too good to keep off the field. And so that's why they're getting them at both guard spots. And you know that Michael Carroll is not going to be the one to get subbed off. So that means Michael Carroll get bumped out to right tackle, and then that puts Will at right guard. But it's funny, Javen James, even though he's taken the majority of the first team reps, Coach DeBoer always mentions Nick Brooks, which means that maybe as the season goes on and the more that they continue to develop, Nick Brooks might end up end of season the right tackle.
Yeah, without a doubt. DC, closing thoughts on anything we talked about today, or anything that maybe you have coming up that you're going to highlight in terms of your podcast.
Well, I think it's interesting to listen. I would say listen to Coach Grubb today. On the podcast that we put up yesterday, I talked about in generality the difference this year of what a coaching, how they sound, more confident, more settled, and I would say listen to Coach Grubb talk about Keelan Russell today, and he'll give you a really good insight as to what this offense has capability of. And I'm excited about the offense and what it can do. But yeah, check me out on the podcast at dccapstoneport.com, DC Capstone Report Facebook page. Like us, share us, get it out there for the world to hear. And thank you for allowing me to come on and be a part of this show each and every Tuesday.
Absolutely. Thanks, DC. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and throw out a question out there, guys. If it's true that Keelan Russell is a bigger, more athletic version of Bryce Young, Alabama will do what in 2026? That's going to be one of our wild card questions for tomorrow. I mean, that's scary if it's true. I mean, thanks, DC. Thanks, Tex. Thanks, Simeon. Thanks, Maniac. This has been the Martin Houston Show. So for Simeon and Xavier and DC, we say roll tide, everybody. Trust in the Lord always, ain't not your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Roll tide, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.